Welcome back to the Hewling Sports Report. I'm Andy Hewling, and I'm joined by Caroline Grace, my good friend from Oklahoma. She goes to school there, but lives in Alabama and is back at home due to the coronavirus pandemic. Caroline, how are you doing?
I'm good, just chilling in my bedroom trying to social distance myself and quarantine.
There you go. So Caroline, obviously you work in a lot of departments at Oklahoma in media and journalism. Tell us a little bit about what you do and some of the jobs that you have on campus.
Yeah, okay, so I do work for two different departments at OU. Um, one that kind of stands out to everyone is our more of like what my college does, which is through Gaylord College of Mass Communications, kind of what reeled me in to go to OU. And we put on a student-led broadcast every day on OU TV. It's called OU Nightly. So we do like your normal newscast, sportscast, weather, and I'm a sports anchor for that show. Now what's cool about that is, normally kids get out of college and they go off and they have to work in a local newsroom for about 2 or 3 years before they can go off anywhere else. But for us, it's like we have already been working in a local newsroom for 4 years. So that's kind of what really stands out to people on our resumes, I guess. And then we have a show that airs every Monday night. It's the only student-produced national broadcast. So OU Nightly is only on like local television, obviously, and then Sooner Sports Pad airs on Fox Sports Oklahoma every Monday night. So I work behind the scenes on that. It's a lot of fun. It's a 30-minute show. We have athletes come on. Baker Mayfield used to come on all the time. He was so friendly. CeeDee Lamb was another big one that used to always come on. And then we do a game day show like you guys do, and it's called Game Day U. And we have a remote team that goes out to where if we're traveling, they go to the away game and they do a show from there. And then we have a studio team that sticks around in the studio and kind of talks about what's going on nationally. And then our team, of course, kind of tries to focus on OU. So that's with my college, and then I work for the athletic department. And what's cool about that is instead of like having to have a job, I get paid through athletics, and I work directly with the track team for our company that's called Sooner Vision. A lot of teams out in the Big 12 or Big 10 have it because there is no like SEC network. I guess that's like as dominant as SEC network is. Obviously, y'all are like run by CBS and ESPN now in a couple of years. So because of that, we kind of try to produce our own sports and have our own game broadcasts. So with track, I travel with them, and I am their full-time reporter. I do all their social media, all their feature stories. Literally anything that involves video journalism, I do it. So, and you can imagine because there's like 500 athletes on the track team. So that is what I do.
There you go. That sounds like a lot of traveling, a lot of entertainment that you get to do, a lot of work. How do you balance kind of your school life and your life in media?
Yeah, it's very difficult sometimes. Luckily for me, I kind of planned ahead, which doesn't matter now, but I made all my classes on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then everything else was online. So my travel schedule usually was Thursday through Saturday night or Thursday through Sunday morning. So I try to get all my schoolwork done Monday through Wednesday, and I kind of like would not focus on my work or track at all on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It was just strictly school. That way, once that was all over with, I could go like dive in head first on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and do everything track. And so that's kind of time management was the biggest thing. Luckily for me, that is my job, so I don't have to worry about like adding a job on top of that. And it's fun knowing like this is actually going to help you in the long run. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with it for sure.
That's awesome. So what have you been doing now that you're back in Alabama? Obviously, we're all under quarantine, all having to stay at home. Talk about the challenges that's posed on you.
Yeah, I'm so bored, honestly, but I'm glad I'm not in Oklahoma because that would be worse. But just been babysitting, running, doing school, reading books. I have some books right here I can recommend for you.
All right.
I read Marty Smith's Never Settle. You need to read that. It's
Okay.
very good. Then I have this one called Secrets of Sports Broadcasting. This is one I kind of like went through and highlighted more because it stuck out. Like it was more of like helpful tips, and it's a lot about baseball, which I think is like really
Mhm.
cool because I don't know that much about baseball. And then Dabo's Dynasty. I went on this kick where I was literally obsessed with Dabo Swinney for like a year, and I think it's just because he beat Nick Saban, but it doesn't matter. So that one I haven't really got into much, but I've read like the first two chapters and he like goes into his background. So if you ever doubt Dabo or say he's a bad person, I will throw this book at you because he is literally the best human ever.
There you go. I mean, honestly, if you're going to model after any coach, I mean, model after either Dabo Swinney or Nick Saban. They're two of the best in the business. So, I
Exactly.
mean, even as an Auburn fan, I have to admit it. Like, they are two of the best coaches that have ever played and coached in the game. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, so now that we've talked about this, we're gonna hop into a game reaction that you picked out yourself. We're gonna look at Oklahoma and TCU from the 2019 college football season. You told me that this was a rough game when you picked it out, but we're gonna check it out. Jalen Hurts obviously is in this game, so we'll get to see a little bit of him. So yeah, let's hop into it. I'm gonna turn on the share screen. And we can watch this game. All right. Once this decides to, there we go. Love this tradition here that y'all get to jump the banner. I wish more teams had it. And you have the Boomer Sooner wagon. Like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. So when the wagon tipped over that one game, I was in it the time it ran before.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was insane.
That's crazy. You were the
Jalen Hurts.
lucky winner there.
Oh, I know. It was scary.
Jalen Hurts already with the touchdown.
I know.
He was unreal last year.
I know. I try to tell people.
And that defense too. Y'all's defense improved last year.
Yeah, we improved. The key word improved. Are we where we need to be? Maybe not. But I think that our secondary is going to get a lot stronger this year. I mean, we're not going to have Kenneth Murray, some of those other key name players that are literally just slipping my head, Neville Gallimore, but we still have Ronnie Perkins and Bookie that's coming back. We'll get Trey Norwood back. Caleb Kelly has another year. So Brayden Willis, he helped us out a lot this year, I have to say. I was really upset after losing Grant Calcaterra because no one realizes how big of a difference tight ends can make. Just having like an extra dynamic player on the field that can make big plays.
I can see that
I
stretching
think he
out there.
stepped up.
What a catch.
Yeah, he stepped up. I'm really excited to see Austin Stogner play. He was a freshman this year. He'll be a sophomore next year. He didn't redshirt. He's got a lot of experience. He scored 2 touchdowns against Baylor, and he's a big dude. So I think he just needed some of that college football playing time. But like that should have never gotten through. Can you rewind that? That was just terrible.
Man, you just you're
see what I mean? Okay. That was perfectly ran play by TCU. I actually did play-by-play for this game. I forgot about it, but yeah. I did play-by-play for the first 2 quarters.
Yeah, the linebacker ran right past the quarterback.
Yes, that was perfectly executed. And that's why I think OU really struggled late in the season because our defense came out so hot. But, I mean, it's only a matter of time before people are like, what are they doing? Let's try to figure it out. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I knew that was about to come. That's another thing. I'll tell you right now, a big difference between SEC and Big 12 players is that it's just I don't know how to put this in a nice way because I do know some of these players, great people, love them. I could never suit up and play. Obviously, I'm 5'5", could never.
Yeah.
But it just seems like SEC players would never just make, like, careless mistakes like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Whoa. What a run.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, no, the SEC, I feel like the SEC and Big 12 have such a difference because there's a lot. I feel like it's faster players maybe in this conference, whereas the SEC has bigger and stronger and plays
Yeah, I
more
would definitely
defense.
say that.
But like this is just all out speed and scoring to me.
Oh, yeah. I will say this too. We did score predictions before this game, and I could not believe my eyes. This game was so low.
Yeah,
Such
no,
a
it is.
waste of
I think it is a 28-24 is a
look
low
at that.
score for a game to
That was a
me
good
in
run.
the Big 12. Give it to Jalen.
Look at Jalen.
Go on, Jalen.
Jalen literally just broke like 2 tackles. There we go. Oh no. Oh yeah.
That's
These are
touchdown.
like the back-to-back-to-back fumbles or whatever. But I think he was down on that one. No, he wasn't. They called it back.
Oh,
Oh, this one hurt us bad.
oh, he may
That
take it.
I will
Oh,
tell you,
he's gonna take
that
it.
play changed the game right there. That play changed the game. It should have never been that close. But
No,
if you'll go back and look, which
I
I'm
mean it
about to
always
do,
takes turnovers, I guess.
I'm about to rewind this. Yeah, it's
Oh,
probably a misread.
oh, he put him on the ground. Oh wait,
He fumbles it
did he
again.
get that? Wait, did he get that?
No, they call it back.
Ooh, that's really close.
I know. It was very nerve-wracking.
Oh, he's got it.
No, I don't think they give it to him. Yeah, they didn't give it to him. That's crazy.
Yeah, like stand. Oh, what a great
think.
play.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The guy made up for
Okay,
his
so
mistake.
that's what I was about to say. I was so happy in that moment because another big difference in our defense this year was that not that yes, they improved but like as a wholesome team playing a game, whatever. They have some improvements to make. But as far as like making plays when they matter, that was the biggest difference I saw in this year's team, especially in the regular season. And then again, I mean, we saw it at Baylor and then in the Big 12 championship. That was the biggest thing to me was that they knew what they had to do to win. And granted, they made it drag on for that long. We should have been beating TCU by 3 touchdowns. But they knew they read the plays well, and they were able to stop them when it mattered.
Yeah, I noticed at the end of that video that they clinched the Big 12 conference championship game in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, what do you think about before we wrap up? What do you think the outlook for Oklahoma is after this kind of season where you've had a good string of quarterbacks and now obviously you're gonna have to go find another quarterback after Jalen Hurts, but what do you think Oklahoma is going to have to do to keep this momentum going in the Big 12?
Well, let me pull up the Oklahoma football schedule real quick for 2020. I know I've said this a lot, and I said this last year because, yes, I'm an Auburn fan. It's not a secret. At this point, everyone knows it. I tried to hide it my first year there. It was there. I'm literally wearing Auburn pajama pants right now. Why I went to OU is a different reason. Obviously, probably shouldn't always pick your colleges based off what college football team you love. Anyway, it's no secret. So having to argue for Auburn kind of puts me in a predicament sometimes because people think I'm being biased. But I will say this till I will take this to my grave. Auburn could have beaten Oklahoma last year. And it sucks for Auburn because Auburn didn't have the opportunity to ever show how good I think that they actually were.
Mhm.
Their schedule was hard in the beginning and the end, so they never had like that point in time where they could like fix their mistakes, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I think obviously on offense you had a lot of newbies, and our defense, our see that's what I'm saying. I will literally say our or we when referring to Auburn, but I think Auburn's defense obviously couldn't make up for everything that lacked on the offense. But I think to your normal college football viewer, the problems that the offense were having were not what the problems actually were.
Mhm.
And just because the team is so young and Gus Malzahn didn't have anyone to say like, hey, let's not do that, or hey, let's do this instead, I think also that made a lot of problems occur. But I'm sorry, but you put Auburn's defense up against Oklahoma's offense. All we had was Jalen Hurts, and CeeDee Lamb. I mean, our best running back got hurt. We had a lot of guys step up. I will say that. We had a lot of guys step up, but they just weren't as experienced. Um, and then I don't think that our defense was as improved as we needed to be to stop an offense, an SEC offense, if that makes sense. Y'all were the only team to come close to beating LSU. Like, that should say a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I remember going to that game. I know I met you there.
Yeah.
That LSU game, I felt like Auburn had a chance, a big time chance, even down to the end. But yeah, the offense just couldn't come through when they needed to. They scored a few times, but
Mm-hmm.
it just was too late. And then the Alabama game, though, I think it really showed off how good Auburn really was, because
Exactly.
even though Alabama was beat up, Auburn was able to take advantage of Alabama's defense, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter what Alabama team you're playing; they're always going to be good because they're all 5 stars pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Auburn was able to overcome the deficit and just keep playing football every time Alabama scored, it was incredible.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly, and like if you compare the LSU to the Alabama game, that should tell you it wasn't Auburn's skill that was hurting them, it was their experience. And of course, that's just my opinion, but that's just and luckily for me, I did get the chance to watch Auburn in person twice, two biggest games of their season. And it was no secret to anyone going in, they had the toughest schedule in the country. But speaking of schedules, this is what OU has next year. We have Missouri State first. Then we have Tennessee. Now, I really like that. I like that. It's the second game of the season, and obviously Tennessee is not a powerhouse in the SEC, but does that mean that they're not a good team in the nation? I think a lot of times we get lost in some of these mediocre teams that are considered bad in the SEC just because there are so many good teams in that conference. Now we're about to put a mediocre team in the SEC facing a good team in the Big 12. I think that's going to be an ultimate matchup. You also have a Tennessee team that's going to have more experience, and you have an Oklahoma team that's kind of rebuilding on the offense, not really on the front, like the offensive line, but I think that's going to be a really good matchup. Then we play Army on the road. If you remember 2 years ago, we had to go into double overtime against them.
Mm-hmm.
Bad. That was just bad. And then we have Baylor. That's pretty early in the season. They did just lose their head coach, but they also have a very good, experienced team coming in. And then, of course, we play Texas again after that. And then Iowa State. Oklahoma State's early this year also. It's going to be it's going to be your third week in October. Then after that, we go TCU, West Virginia, K-State, Kansas, Texas Tech. Now, I would say after that Oklahoma State game, we're kind of getting into a downhill climb, but then we have TCU, West Virginia, K-State. TCU, obviously, we just watched that skidded by on that game. Then we have West Virginia. We did beat them pretty good. Then we have K-State who beat us. So if OU doesn't watch out, they've got some matchups coming back to back that could really hurt their season. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think the biggest thing for them is that they need this momentum to keep going on the defense. They're losing their quarterback of the defense per se Kenneth Murray, but that doesn't mean that everyone around Kenneth Murray shouldn't strive to be better, because if you can make up for one player instead of one player trying to make up for everyone else. I think it's going to be great to see Spencer Radler play. He hasn't played in 2 years because he didn't play his high school senior year either, and I think he has a lot of expectations. And then of course we got Chandler Morris as a recruit, so we'll have him in too. I bet it'll be kind of like Spencer this year, where if we were beating them, they would get in and get some playing time. But I don't know, it's going to be interesting to watch, especially losing like CeeDee Lamb. We saw the impact of losing Hollywood the year before. I think it's a lot of guys that need to mentally be ready to step up to the plate as an upperclassman, because we've kind of given them the whole, oh, they're young excuse. Well, now they're not young. So what are they going to do?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it should be really interesting. Can't wait for college football season. It's always the best time of the year. Hopefully we can.
Hopefully there is a college football
Yes,
season. Yeah.
hopefully there is a college football season. We can all get through this, and then in the fall we enjoy some football again. Hopefully with some full sold out stadiums in Norman and Auburn and across the country. So yeah, Caroline, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Always good
Yeah,
to hear from you. If you're ever in the Auburn area, come see us. Come see
I
me out.
will. I will.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we're gonna sign off here for the Healing Sports Report. Thank you again, Caroline. We'll see you guys in the next video.